So a few weeks ago, I went to go see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I was a little bit disappointed of, and every single person who saw that review said, well, you need to see the other better multiverse film that's out right now, which is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
I knew fairly little going in. I'd heard a lot of buzz. People had been messaging me, when are you going to see it? When are you going to see it? You've got to go see it. I hear it's great. And it is made by directors known colloquially as the two Daniels.
Yeah. They're just called
Daniel
Daniels.
Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
Yes.
Sorry for not pronouncing that correctly. They made a film called Swiss Army Man.
Yes.
Have you seen Swiss Army Man?
I have at your recommendation.
It's a weird film.
Yeah.
I remember watching Swiss Army Man and thinking, that is the craziest, weirdest film I've ever seen. I don't think I'll ever see a film as weird as Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
But, divisive as it is, I think Swiss Army Man is great.
Right,
I think
sure.
it is crazy,
Okay.
but I really enjoyed it. I've not seen a film as weird as Swiss Army Man until Everything Everywhere All at Once. Because if you have seen that film, you will know the kind of realm that we're dealing in. Everything Everywhere All at Once is starring Michelle Yeoh, Stephanie Su, Ki Hugh Kwan, who plays Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. And he's all grown up now, which is so cool. So it stars this character who runs this laundrette. And she has a husband who she's kind of falling out of love with, and she's, they're dealing with their divorce, they're thinking of separating, but they're not sure. She has this daughter who's sort of, in her late teens, early 20s, who is a lesbian, and she's grappling with trying to contemplate what that means. And she's got this father who's very sick, and they haven't been paying their taxes properly because they're like a cash-only business. So they're going to the tax office to see Jamie Lee Curtis's character, who is the tax officer, trying to help them get their receipts together and sort it out. And in this process of going to see the tax woman, her husband does this weird shake, grabs her and goes, I need your help. I'm not your husband. I'm from a different dimension. I just look like your husband. You are being chased by this evil person who is going to take the form of those you love and those around you to try and capture you. You are special. You are the one with the power to defeat her. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? And then he goes. And she gets this piece of paper which says, go to the closet, close your eyes, scrunch your toes, and you will be able to engage with this multiverse. And it goes from there, okay?
Right.
And this is a film that has probably the most number of shots in it, or scenes, I could ever imagine.
Right.
It jumps between so many different versions of herself. There's a version where she is like an Oscar-winning actress. Right. There's a version where she's an award-winning singer. And it's completely nuts. Like, you know how I talked about how in Men there are film scenes that's like undescribable? This has many scenes which if I tried to tell you about them would just sound crazy. Right. So as she goes through these different universes,
Try not to spoil too much.
I'm not. It's hard for me to spoil this film. Okay. As she goes through different universes, she's able to learn different powers like fighting and persuasion and super speed by interacting with certain objects. But these other interdimensional beings that travel can also access those powers as well. So there is a scene where in order to access the power to defeat her enemy, they have to find a butt plug and stick it up their ass, and there's this kung fu fight scene between her and this other guy both fighting to get this butt plug, to get their power, and there's scenes in slow-mo where the guy puts his legs behind his legs and jumps on the butt plug on the floor to try and do it. It's completely crazy, but what it manages to do at the end is actually makes you think and feel and care about this woman in all different aspects of her life. Wow. And as she goes through the multiverse, she's able to engage with everything that's wrong with her life. When she's encountered with this antagonist who's forcing her to encounter everything else that's wrong and deal with this different version of her husband and her daughter. And there's this whole element where there is a dark void, like a black hole, that is in the shape of a bagel because someone decided to put everything on a bagel. And that created, because you're not meant to put everything on a bagel. This is what I'm saying. Trying to describe it is nuts. And jumping into the bagel, or the black bagel, would be like death. Right, okay. And trying to figure out... It's just completely... And it's really good, and it kind of surprised me at the end where I was like, wow, I actually, through all the chaos, and it homages The Matrix and Ratatouille and Stanley Kubrick's 2001 all at once, and it jumps so much between different things, but it never felt disorienting. It just felt chaotic and wonderful. It hops between different languages, and it never felt jarring. But I get why people are loving it. I think if you didn't like Swiss Army Man, you're probably going to find this just as strange.
Okay.
but I promise you've never seen anything like it, and I would love people to go see it because it's that crazy.
Yeah, I'm inundated with people telling me to go see it all the time. So I am trying. I've been away, come on, but I will try and go see it. Yeah, you've made it sound even more bonkers than I already thought it would be.
And you know, there's like that sort of classic grey cubicle Matrix scene where the agents are coming. Yeah. There's kind of a real nod to that. And what if you could fight them with all the power that you had? And the actor performances are just brilliant in it. And for some reason, that script works. I'd love to be in the writer's room for that film because it was like no idea was a bad idea.
Yes.
And there was no one that said, well, we can't do that. That's too crazy. It's just everything everywhere.
All it was. Very good.
Literally, there you go.
Okay, I'm going to check it out and I'll let you know my thoughts.
I'm interested to see, because I know a lot of people have been messaging me saying, please go see it. I'd love to hear what other people's takes are of it. I think it's great and I had a really good time with it, but ultimately it proved that you didn't need to have a £200 million film with all the best visual effects to make a good multiverse movie. Actually, it was about creating a simple group of characters that I start caring about and I'm invested in them. And through everything that happens to them, I'm able to get to the end of that and be like, wow, that's really profound. And it made sense for that person to travel through lots of different universes versus just let's do it because we want to show off a bunch of characters and situations. And I think it's very cool. It's the better multiverse film that's out right now.